Have you ever seen anyone on YouTube using their smartphone as a microphone like this? Probably yes. But have you ever seen anyone using their smartwatch as a microphone like this or like this? Probably not. So we're going to test it out. The microphone of the Galaxy Watch 8 is located on the right side between the home button and the back button. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any technical specification of the microphone online, so cannot really tell you if it's, for example, better or worse than a smartphone. But looking at the tiny size of this device, I suspect that it might be a little bit worse because there just isn't that much space. Having said that, I've been testing out this watch as a standalone device for a future video in the last few weeks. So I've made a lot of calls with this watch, and I've used the internal speaker and the internal microphone for a lot of these calls, and quality seems pretty good. Nobody has complained. I told some people and they were surprised that I was using a watch and not a smartphone. So yeah, it passed the practical test. So for this video, I thought we could play a little game. I'm going to put the Galaxy Watch 8 up against my smartphone and against this wireless mic that I usually use for my videos. And I'm going to show you clips with recordings of all three microphones. I'm going to label them A, B, C. I'm only going to reveal at the end of the video which one is which. So you can listen for yourself, guess which one is the Watch 8, which one is the dedicated mic, and which one is the smartphone, and see if you're right. See how you like the different sound qualities. And at the end, I'll give you my 2 cents about which microphone sounded best, in my honest opinion. By the way, the sound you're hearing in this whole section is coming from the Galaxy Watch 8's microphone. I've processed it a little bit to make it sound as good as possible, but only for this section. In the microphone tests, I will not process the audio for any of the 3 microphones. I will just normalize the audio levels, so make sure the volume is the same for all 3 microphones, but I will not adjust anything else. But yeah, for this section, you're hearing the optimized version of the Galaxy Watch 8's microphone. Alright, let's start the showdown. In the first test, we're going to see how the 3 different microphones handle plosives and sibilants. Sibilants. Plosives are b and p sounds. So sounds you make with your lips that create a little puff of air, and that can lead to a popping sound in microphones. And sibilants refers to the high-pitched hissing sounds that can occur when you make sounds like s or sh or even t sounds. I'm going to say a sentence now that tests both plosives and sibilants at the same time. I'm going to exaggerate the sounds a little bit. Basically, purple platypuses practice spectacularly shoddy speeches. Basically, purple platypuses practice spectacularly shoddy speeches. Basically, purple platypuses practice spectacularly shoddy speeches. Now it's raining. That helps. For test number 2, I'm taking you outside and we're going to test the microphones for clarity and mid-range frequencies. As you can see, we're outside now. There's little to no wind, so ideal conditions for test number 2, except for all the mosquitoes. Garrulous green grasshoppers gracefully guzzle gallons of grape juice. Garrulous green grasshoppers gracefully guzzle gallons of grape juice. Garrulous green grasshoppers gracefully guzzle gallons of grape juice. Let's leave this mosquito-infested forest. Test number 3 is designed to test the richness and the bass of the different microphones. I'm going to pretend to be a podcast host for this test.
Did you ever want to feel like a secret agent talking into your watch? Well, you're in luck. In today's episode of Minimal Tech, we'll find out if you'll sound rather like James Bond or like a muffled mess calling for help from the bottom of a laundry basket. Or like a muffled mess calling for help from the bottom of a laundry basket. Or like a muffled mess calling for help from the bottom of a laundry basket.
Test number 4 is designed to challenge the microphones in terms of dynamic range. So we're going to see how they handle with very low sounds and very loud sounds and everything in between. Frank Pete's funny fish, fresh fish food. Frank Pete's funny fish, fresh fish food. Frank Pete's funny fish, fresh fish food. Frank Pete's a funny fish, fresh fish food. Frank Pete's a funny fish, fresh fish food. Frank Pete's a funny fish, fresh fish food. Frank feeds funny fish fresh fish food. Frank feeds funny fish fresh fish food. Frank feeds funny fish fresh fish food. In test number 5, we're going to look at the noise floor. I'm just going to let the microphones run and we're going to see what the noise floor is. This is the sound of silence. In the last test, I'm going to take you outside again and we're going to listen for fricatives, basically F sounds, because they are affected by the wind quite a lot. So let's go. For the last test, I was looking for a windy place and I think I found it. Furious fluffy ferrets fought 55 fearless frogs for fresh fruit. Furious fluffy ferrets fought 55 fearless frogs for fresh fruit. Furious fluffy ferrets fought 55 fearless frogs for fresh fruit. Now let's talk about the result. I've listened to all the test recordings with my amateur ears and unfortunately I had to listen to a lot of exhale noises. I'm sure you too. So sorry about that. I am now holding my watch a little bit differently. So we're still recording on the watch. Yeah, but I'm not speaking like this directly into the microphone. I'm holding it sideways. What a brilliant idea. I hope this helps. All right, these are the results. I awarded 3 points to the winner in every test, 2 points for the second place, and 1 point for the loser. When 2 microphones, or even 3, were on the same level, they all received the same score. Mic B won all but 1 test, but there is also a shared victory in there. And here is the grand reveal. You probably maybe guessed correctly that mic B is the wireless mic, the Hollyland Lark M1, not only because it sounded a little bit better than the other two, but also because it sounded quite different from them. And also probably because you couldn't hear all the annoying wind sounds and distractions, because that was the only one with a wind muff on it. Having said that, mic A and mic C sounded quite similar, so the phone and the watch. Did you guess correctly that the Watch 8 was mic A? And did you have the microphones in the same order or a different order? Let me know in the comments if you're so inclined. Now, I won't discuss the results in too much detail for each test because I'm not an audio professional, and also these tests were designed for you to be able to listen and decide for yourself which of the microphones you liked and how the Watch 8 compares to other non-professional microphones. But I do have a few key observations that I want to share with you. I've already said it and you probably noticed the Galaxy Watch 8 and the Galaxy S23 sound pretty similar. But one big difference was that the volume coming out of the Watch 8 is much lower when you get it onto your computer, and you have to raise it quite a lot to normalize it. I expected this to result in a much higher noise floor for the Galaxy Watch 8, but actually the opposite was true and there wasn't any noise to speak of which could be above any floor. So great result there. I'm guessing that both watch and phone use some kind of software noise cancelling to achieve this, but it works, it works. And if you're wondering why the S23 won the noise floor test, it's because it was the only microphone to pick up some noises that came from the apartment above when I did the test. What these two also have in common is that they cannot deal with any air movement for the life of them, which means again that unfortunately I have subjected you to a lot of unpleasant noises. I hope it doesn't happen again in this section. We'll see. Overall, the Galaxy S23 wins over the watch because it has fuller lows and it has clearer midtones, so it just sounds a little bit better overall. But the difference wasn't quite as big as I expected, so the Watch 8 holds its own against the phone. Still, the Lark M1 tops both Galaxy devices in basically every aspect of sound quality, who would have thought, except for the noise floor, as I've mentioned. In the noise floor test, this had such a high noise floor that it just drowned out the noises that were coming from the apartment above that the Galaxy S23 picked up. So was the difference between this and the phone and the watch clear? Yes. Was it as big as I thought it would be? Probably. Does that mean you need a dedicated microphone for your videos? I'll tell you in the conclusions. I have now tied the wind muff from my Lark M1 around the watch. What do you think? Smart? Or not? These are also called dead cat for some reason. Anyways, this should sound good. We'll see. not having any wind muff, as I've mentioned already and as I've demonstrated, can be problematic. Third-party wind muffs do exist for phones, but I haven't found any for watches, so you would have to do something similar to this. Or I would probably just chuck the whole watch in a wind muff made for a proper microphone. And then, and only then, would I suggest to use your phone or watch as a microphone outside, because the wind can pick up any moment. And then your whole shot might be ruined. But when thinking about using your watch as a microphone, you should consider aspects other than sound quality as well. Do you often need to record more than one audio source? For example, are you interviewing people? Well, you could use your smartwatch and your smartphone as two different microphones basically, but a much better and more elegant solution is something like this, a wireless mic set with two receivers. Many brands make these and they've gone down a lot in price over the last 2 or 3 years, so it doesn't break the bank. Ease of use is also a big consideration, and these wireless mic sets actually have a disadvantage. You have to connect them to the camera first, and you have to make sure the settings are correct. It's definitely not rocket science, so don't worry, but for example, in my last video, I accidentally hit this little button here, and that turned on noise cancellation, and it doesn't sound good on this microphone at all, so the rest of the video sounded terrible. I didn't like that. And this could not have happened on the Watch 8, for example. And yes, depending on your camera brand, they might offer microphones that you just clip into the hot shoe and they're connected without a cable and they don't really need any settings and it's all automatic. And yes, that is probably the most convenient option of all. So yeah, maybe check it out if your camera supports this. In any case, the setup doesn't take super long. I just wanted to mention it, and it does have the big advantage that the audio is baked into your video when you get it onto your computer, and you don't have to sync it and you don't have to move separate files to your computer, which is what you have to do with your phone and your watch. By the way, transferring voice recording files from the watch is very easy, but I didn't find it super intuitive, so I thought I'd quickly show you how to do this in case you're interested. Open the wearable app, click on watch settings, scroll down to apps, click on it and look for the voice recorder app. Click again, look for app settings, click on copy to phone, make sure it's turned on and set to always. Now let's have a look what happens when we make a recording on the watch. Test, 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 test. After you stop the recording, it is automatically transferred to your phone. Once you've moved the files from your phone to your computer, syncing is pretty easy, but I realized when you have a lot of files that you need to sync with a lot of video clips, then that can become pretty annoying. But if you do one long take or two long takes, then I think the hassle of syncing the audio files and moving them isn't greater than the hassle of setting up the microphone on the camera. Your mileage may vary, but actually for me this is slightly more frictionless. Alright, we've basically made it to the end of this video. So, can you use your Watch 8 or any other smartwatch for that matter as your microphone for your videos? Yes, it works and it sounds decent enough. But should you do this? Well, it depends. If you don't have a dedicated wireless microphone and you want to record audio far away from your camera and you also don't want to use your phone or you don't have a phone, then why not use your smartwatch? Maybe try it out and maybe you like it and maybe we'll start a trend and everyone will use their smartwatch as a microphone in the future. Yeah, probably not, but I hope this was still helpful. If you like liking videos and you like this one, then please like it. I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye for now. Oh, God. There's some animal in the bushes. And it's not my wife. Basically purple platypuses practice spectacularly spotty. 55 fearless, no. Furious fluff. Sibilance. Sibilance? Garrulous green grasshoppers, gracefully gazzle. Oh, the mosquitoes here. Basically, but what I can tell you from practical use is, garrulous green grasshoppers gracefully gazzle gallons of. Oh. But what I can tell you, But what I can tell you is that Frank feeds funny fish fresh fish food. Let's try again. Dum, dum, dum.